Ever wondered how to bake the perfect vanilla cake? Welcome back, and if you're new here, we're about to embark on a culinary journey that will leave your sweet tooth satisfied. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of baking to uncover the secrets of crafting a wonderful vanilla cake. This gem is perfect for any occasion, be it a birthday, a family gathering, or a simple treat-yourself Sunday. We'll walk you through the entire process, from gathering the ingredients to taking that first heavenly bite. This recipe is easy to follow, so whether you're a seasoned baker or just starting out in the kitchen, you're in for a treat. We'll need some basic baking essentials and, of course, the star of the show, vanilla. So are you ready to create your own culinary masterpiece? Let's dive right in. First things first, we need to gather our ingredients. Baking is a science, so precision is key. For this wonderful vanilla cake, we'll need the following: 2 cups of all-purpose flour to give our cake structure, 1 cup of granulated sugar for that sweet touch, a cup of milk which will help moisten our cake, half a cup of unsalted butter softened to room temperature. This will give our cake a delicate crumb. We'll also need 2 large eggs to bind our ingredients together, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract for our star flavor, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder to give our cake the perfect rise, and lastly, ½ a teaspoon of salt to balance out the sweetness. Now that we have our ingredients ready, it's time to start mixing. The secret to a great cake is in the mix, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty of mixing our ingredients. First things first, we need to get our oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. While that's heating up, take a moment to grease your 9-inch round cake pan. This will ensure your cake doesn't stick and will slide out effortlessly once baked. Now, onto the fun part. In a large mixing bowl, combine your softened butter and sugar. We're looking for a texture that's light and fluffy, so don't be shy about really getting in there and creaming them together. This process is integral to achieving the perfect crumb in your cake, giving it that melt-in-your-mouth quality we all crave. Next, we're going to add our eggs. Do this one at a time, beating well after each addition. This ensures that each egg is fully incorporated and helps to keep the batter smooth and uniform. After the eggs, it's time to stir in the vanilla extract. This is what gives our cake its signature flavor, so don't skimp on it. While that's all mixing together, take a separate bowl and sift together your dry ingredients. That's your flour, baking powder, and salt. Sifting isn't just for show. It helps to combine these ingredients evenly and prevents any lumps in your batter. Now, it's time to marry our wet and dry ingredients. Gradually add your sifted dry ingredients to the wet, alternating with the milk. This method helps to keep the batter from getting too thick or too thin. Mix until just combined, being careful not to overmix. Overmixing can lead to a dense cake, and we're aiming for light and airy here. And just like that, our batter is ready for baking. Stay tuned for the next step where we'll transform this smooth, velvety batter into a golden, delectable cake. Now comes the exciting part, baking! After all the mixing, we have a beautifully smooth and creamy batter ready to be transformed into a delicious vanilla cake. Start by taking your prepared cake pan. It should be thoroughly greased to ensure our cake doesn't stick. Now, pour the batter into the pan. Make sure to spread it evenly with a spatula. This step is crucial as it will help the cake rise uniformly, giving us a perfectly shaped cake. Once the batter is in the pan, it's time for the oven. We've preheated it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius, just the right temperature for our cake. Gently place the pan in the oven and close the door. No peeking now. Opening the oven too often can result in a flat or unevenly baked cake. As the cake bakes, it will rise and turn a beautiful golden brown. The smell wafting from the oven will be divine and will be a sure sign that your cake is baking nicely. However, the best way to check the doneness of the cake is the toothpick test. After about 25 to 30 minutes of baking, carefully open the oven and insert a toothpick into the center of the cake. If the toothpick comes out clean or with a few crumbs clinging to it, your cake is done. If it comes out wet, give it a few more minutes in the oven. Once done, remove the cake from the oven. Be sure to use oven mitts to protect your hands. Let the cake rest in the pan for about 10 minutes. This helps it firm up and makes it easier to remove from the pan. After 10 minutes, turn the cake out onto a wire rack to cool completely. It's important to let the cake cool before frosting, as the heat could melt the frosting and create a mess. And there you have it, a beautifully baked vanilla cake. But we're not done yet. Stay tuned as we move on to the final touches to make this cake a stunning centerpiece for any occasion. A good cake is all about the finishing touches. After our beautiful vanilla cake has emerged golden and fragrant from the oven, it's time to let it cool. This is an important step, as it allows the cake to set and firm up, making it easier to frost later on. So set your timer and let the cake cool in the pan for about 10 minutes. Then gently transfer it to a wire rack to cool completely. This may require a bit of patience, but trust me, it's worth the wait. Now, as the cake is cooling, let's talk about frosting. Frosting is the crowning glory of any cake, and with our vanilla cake, the possibilities are endless. You could go for a classic vanilla buttercream, which is simple yet divine, or a rich cream cheese frosting for a tangy contrast to the sweet cake. If you're a chocolate lover, a velvety chocolate ganache would work beautifully. And let's not forget about fruit-flavored frostings. A zesty lemon or a sweet strawberry frosting could add a refreshing twist. Once the cake is completely cooled, it's time to get frosting. Using a spatula or a butter knife, spread your frosting of choice evenly over the cake. If you're feeling a bit fancy, you could pipe on the frosting for a more decorative look. Remember, the goal here is not perfection, but to create a cake that's delicious and made with love. So don't stress too much about getting the frosting perfectly smooth, or the decorations exactly right. The most important thing is that it tastes good, and there you have it, a slice of heaven right in your kitchen. From the fluffy, moist vanilla cake to the rich, creamy frosting, this is a dessert that's sure to impress. So go ahead, cut yourself a slice and savor the fruits of your labor. You've earned it. It's been a delight baking with you today. We've journeyed through the world of flavors, textures, and aromas to create a wonderful vanilla cake, a perfect treat for any occasion. Let's take a quick stroll down memory lane. We began by gathering all our ingredients, a mix of pantry staples like all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, milk, unsalted butter, eggs, vanilla extract, baking powder, and a pinch of salt. The magic truly began when we combined these ingredients, the creamy butter and sugar blending into a delightful mix, the eggs adding richness, and the vanilla extract bringing in that much-loved flavor. Then came the careful sifting of our dry ingredients and their gradual incorporation into the wet mix, a dance between the two that resulted in a smooth, well-combined batter. The anticipation built as we transferred the batter into our prepared cake pan, the oven preheated and ready to transform our efforts into baked wonder. After 25 to 30 minutes, our patience was rewarded with a beautifully baked vanilla cake. But we didn't stop there. We allowed the cake to cool, a crucial step before we could add our favorite frosting, the final touch that would elevate our cake from wonderful to simply irresistible. Now it's your turn to try this recipe, to experience the joy of baking and the satisfaction of a job well done. Remember, baking is an adventure, and each step, each ingredient adds to that journey. We hope you'll share your baking adventures with us and with others. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Share it with friends and family who might be looking for a simple yet delicious cake recipe. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to stay updated with our latest culinary creations. Until next time, happy baking!